What does the script supervisor do, for those who don't know?
It's a super important job that connects the set to the edit. And so I take all the notes that happens on the set and hand them over to the edit, or rather I email them.
Great. And how did you train? What was your very start working in the film industry? Did you train for it? Did you go to?
I didn't train to be a script supervisor.
Right.
I landed the job by being Faye Dunaway's personal assistant.
Okay.
On a feature film. I basically became friendly with the producer and the director because they knew that I was having a hard time, let's put it that way. And so when Faye left the set to go back to America, she pressed £100 into my hand and she said, "Thank you for doing such a wonderful job of looking after me." So they said, "How about you come back and work as a script supervisor?" And I said, yes, I'd love to do that, having no idea what that meant whatsoever.
Right.
But then I got into the role, and slowly but surely it does just make sense. Makes perfect sense.
And did you have anyone like sort of mentoring you or sort of teaching you how to do it? Right, so it was very much a learn on the job.
Yeah, and I think that is honestly the best way to do it.
Right.
You can do courses all day long, but really you just need the experience. Otherwise, it's just theory and you can't really put it into practice.
So, but you're working on film and TV, and especially in those early days, as you are kind of learning by experience, with a bit of, now we're looking back, can you remember like some of the big surprises or the big challenges, or what were the kind of epiphanies that you had as you kind of learning the job?
Oh, you want time code?
Yeah.
Halfway through. Oh, I didn't realise. That sort of thing. So yeah, learning on the job is very important.
Right.
And you just kind of learn you pick up pieces of information. Even now, having been a script supervisor for 17 years,
yeah.
I'm learning all the time. But there's new technology coming out all the time as well, so you're just keeping abreast of everything, really.
Right.
You know, the language changes on set as well. But ultimately, you know, you have just got to be polite and say, are you happy with that? Rather than, no, that's wrong!
Yeah. And so you're interacting, so you, like you said, you're the bridge between sort of the shoot and the edit. So on set, who are the people you interact with most frequently?
I'd say actors, directors, and art department and sound.
And do you always do you have to make a point of kind of getting to know them before the shoot, or introducing yourself, or how does that go?
Well, I think what I should do really is have a little name badge.
Yeah. Because
no one can say my name to begin with, and right. I just say, just call me Ang, and then that always changes to all different kinds of names. But normally it's just Scripty or Script.
Yeah.
Depending on who you're working with, and I always try and remember the sound guys' names because we can often sit together in quite close proximity.
Right.
And so it's good to make friends with the sound department, and then the art department, because I have to get onto set sometimes to move little things. Like I'm not a perfectionist, but if it's not right, it's not going to cut, and I know. And then that'll be my fault. So yeah, the art department, I really need to be buddies with them.
Right. And how far in advance do you get hired on a project? I mean, who hires you as well? I
normally get a call from a line producer saying, "Are you available?" And I nearly always say, "How long for?"
Yeah.
And when. And literally, for a commercial, they can call me the day before.
Right.
And off I go. And then for television shows, I normally get about, depending on the length of the project, if it's like a 6-week shoot, I'd probably get 2 weeks prep. And then I'll be hired maybe the week before that prep. So it's always last minute.
Right.
Or nearly always. I don't think I've ever had time to like go on holiday and, you know, paint some fences and then turn up to work.
So you always have to just keep your schedule flexible.
Very much, it's open.
And the jobs are coming from, like you say, you get a call from line producer, but you've worked on loads of projects. So is this by presumably like personal connections or reputation, or?
Well, I was with an agency to begin with, and then I soon disliked that whole concept because they're taking a percentage of your wages and you're the one doing the 12 hours in the middle of the rain or in the middle of the night. So over the years, I've just kind of I no longer need that contact, so I just get calls. And actually, I am on the register for Creative England, which is it's like a free agency, so they don't take any money. They just, your details are there and they're accessible by anyone in the industry who is hiring.
And you're working on presumably all kinds of projects. So is it like your standard month or standard year? Is it like mostly TV, mostly film, shorts?
It's everything really. So commercials are super nice because they're high earners and they're really short jobs, so you can roll in and roll out. But I think really for that sort of gig you might need to be more placed in London. Right. I think they're fewer and far between in the north, and also a lot of commercials now, they're just voiceovers with graphics, or for example, so there's not always like a dialogue situation. So script supervisors are mostly hired for, you know, the nuances in speech, or, you know, details, extra eyes for the director, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think mostly I work in television, but I love film.
And are there projects that you kind of seek out, or you kind of just sort of...
Yes. So during COVID, I just happened across Motherland, and I absolutely loved it. And I started there going, God, I'd love to work on that. And then I literally got a call, would you like to come and work on Motherland Series 3? It was like, yes, I would, please. Thank you. So yeah, I'm kind of lucky in that way. I don't know, I sort of seem to manifest it. Yeah. And that's quite nice.
Yeah, it's good. And I mean, but obviously you're doing a good job to kind of continue to get higher.
Well, comedy is a way of working really, because a lot of it is psychology with the director. You don't want to be on the heels going, oh, that's wrong, this is wrong, annoying them. You know, you just have to. Comedy is about letting it roll, essentially. Let's see it play out, and then there could be something further on beyond the script that is funny. And so it's about just being present and, you know, agreeing with the director almost, that was really good, wasn't it? Yeah. You know, so then they know where to look in the notes to go, oh yeah, the script supervisor liked that bit as well. We all agreed we liked it.
And is that often that comes up that they just need like a little bit of validation, especially maybe if they're trying something a bit unusual? Or,
yeah, definitely.
Right. So you get the call for a new job, hopefully it's something as good as Motherland, and then what prep do you do? Like, you've got a little bit of time, but often it's at the last minute. You get in the script, what's the kind of standard prep for you?
Let's just say there was 6 episodes in series 1, and I've got to break down every single script. So that'll be 6 scripts, but they'll be forever changing. So they're updating the script all the time. So that can get really annoying because it can happen the day before you're filming, and so all your timings are out, and then you literally just have to say, right, no more. I'm not doing any overtime. We just need to get through this script. More often than not, the changes, once we get to the white pages, they're literally the shooting pages. Sorry, there's little nuances that are changed, not big character changes, so you just have to roll with the punches. It can be quite taxing,
right?
But you have to time the script, and then each scene needs to know what character is in it, what time of day it is, the synopsis, so what is happening in the scene, perhaps where they're going to next, where they have been, their costume, their makeup, and then on the actual day I will just cross-check everything with the costume and the makeup department and just say, oh yeah, I think he's meant to have a bruise in scene 5. Well, he hasn't got a bruise. Oh yes. Well, you know, we've had a private conversation with the director, and he just wants a little scratch, not a bruise. So that you've just got to be on your toes all the time.
Yeah. And so presumably it is like I don't know if the right metaphor for this, like it's spinning plates, or you've got to hold a lot of information in your head about not just the scene of the day, but also like how it fits into the whole project. And is that hard? Is that something you've kind of had to work out?
It's a mindfuck.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but you do roll with it. I don't know how, but you just do.
Yeah. I
think you have to be a certain type of person to do the job.
Yeah.
And that is, you've got to have a good memory.
Yeah.
You've got to have good communication skills, so good chat. And you've got to be super organised. which is amazing because I'm not outside of my job.
Right.
Only in my job.
But you're saving all that power for the work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so, like just random details, but like, so on a set, like, what's your call time versus other people's call time? Like, are you there right from the beginning, or?
Well, I aim to be the last person there.
Right.
And the first person away.
Right. That's living the dream, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they've changed a lot of the way that the rate is paid now. So you don't get extra. I think you get, is it 10 hours plus 1 for your daily rate. And so because we're part of the camera team, we're allowed to charge the same rate as camera for overtime. And I just think, an extra half an hour is going to cost the production a lot. So I just do everything when I'm there.
Right. And then once the action is called and a take is going, what are the kind of things that you're looking for? What are the plates that are spinning in your mind?
Who's bringing me coffee?
Yeah. Number one.
Right, the first thing I would look at, well, we always do a rehearsal, so everyone can get to grips with where they're going to move. And then I understand through the rehearsal what shots we're going to do. So there'll be like a mini shot list, a mini chat about that. And I'm just looking out for the wide shot, what they're going to do in the wide shot that will change in the tighter shot. And then it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. No, he didn't do that in that wide shot. That's okay, because we'll be closer. Okay. It's all this chat all the time. So it's literally, it can change at any point. And then the director can say, actually, going to do the wide shot again.
And you presumably I hear stories about like some actors are like super technical and super reliable and really you know what you're going to get and they've really pre-planned it, whereas others are much more kind of spontaneous. Do you get like a mix of those in any given project, or?
Yeah, definitely. Especially in comedy, because each time they do a pass, they can say something different and do something different, and then the director will be like, oh yeah, I really like take one. It's like, yeah, but in take one he threw his cigarette down, and then now it's not going to cut with the third take of your second pass, on the wide shot. I'm like, oh, it can get really techie.
Yeah.
And it's insane. But what is really good to help is that you have playback, and that's lovely.
Yeah.
So that is basically the recording of what have you just shot, and then you can look back and you can point out to everyone, by the way, that's not going to cut. And they'll go, oh, okay then. You need to have a voice. You need to be very clear about how it's going to cut or if it's not going to cut. Otherwise, you're screwing up the show.
Yeah. And is there a tension between, because again, like you sort of hear stories about how things were cut together in terms of like there are things that you can kind of get away with, or things that you think, strictly speaking, this isn't going to be continuous, but we'll kind of get away with it, or is that a sort of or do you have to sort of advocate for continuity and sort of?
Well, I am in charge of continuity.
Yeah.
That's the main point of the job. But it's great when you meet Americans and go, oh, just paint it out in post. There's an aeroplane in that. Oh, just paint it out.
Right. And is there, from your perspective, maybe specifically from what you need, but also your opinion of your film crew, what is the best qualities in a director that you would like to work with? What helps you do your job in terms of?
I think when I feel secure in the knowledge that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because if they suddenly turn around to me and said, what lens should this be on? I'd be like, well, this is your directing gig. You decide.
Yeah.
And it is really hard when you get first-time directors and they have no idea about crossing the line, and you end up in a conflict with them saying, well, that's not going to cut because their eye line was over there and now it's over there. Now I'm really confused which way you want them to look.
Yeah.
And that is annoying. That's annoying.
And does that come into your jurisdiction as well, like line crossing and like
Absolutely.
dinner table scenes, and that must be
Absolutely, yeah. We're all over that like a rash.
And so having a vision, having the director having sort of knowing what they want in sort of prep as well. And what do maybe I can hear from both things. The good sets you've been on, or the best sets you've been on, what are the kind of the qualities, what makes that a good set? Like good banter, good prep, like
Definitely good prep. good craft services.
Yeah.
They're very important. And just people who are in the know. It's such a safe feeling. You know, you feel like there's not going to be a fire, no one's going to die. Everyone knows where they need to be.
Yeah.
And it flows, and it's so nice when it flows like that. Everybody is just working as a team, and it's like little fairy dust in the sky, and off we go. Yeah, it's lovely.
And without naming any names at all, but the less good sets, or less, or maybe, because sometimes this can still result in a good film, but like the sort of the more kind of chaotic environments, what are the mistakes that you think people make? Or
it's just more that we are there, and it's painful, because we're working in sometimes quite harsh conditions, and there's horizontal rain, or it's too hot, and we're all tired. So it's just getting the job done quickly, and there's no messing about, and then sometimes things can it can start from just a runner maybe spilling coffee on the set, then we have to clear the set, but we're not saving lives, it's just we want to be efficient. So it's better if everybody knows what they're doing, so then we can be super efficient and go home.
Yeah. And you started out, so like you say, you started out working as an assistant to Faye Dunaway and then moved into a different role. If you had to give advice to like people starting out, maybe being runners or interns or working on a junior position, what are the best qualities that kind of sort of new filmmaker can have on the set? What are the things they should sort of learn?
Ask a lot of questions, and don't be afraid, because we are only human. And I always figured that I should be afraid of my peers, and I think that is so wrong, and anyone who's shouty deserves to be sacked. So never be afraid to ask questions. Knowledge is power.
Yeah. And presumably the more you learn, then the better you'll get, and that's a better set for everybody.
Yeah.
And we've talked about like different places you've been, like different environments, but also your life involves a lot of travel and other things as well. Is that kind of something you have to accept and be able to do to do this job? Like it's
100%. I think if I didn't have a car or was able to drive, relying on trains would not work. Yeah. Because sometimes you're working up a mountain or down a drain pipe. I don't know. You need to be agile.
I was going to ask you, like, working. You're based here in Anglesey. We're in Aria Film Studios on Anglesey, and so what has been your experience of working in Wales? Like, is most of your work in Wales? What kind of percentage of work do you get to do here or in this nearby?
If I get a job near my home on Anglesey, it's like Christmas Day, so that's like once in a blue moon.
Right. Okay.
I did work on something called an gyda'i. That was a Welsh opera, and that was filming in the Snowdonia mountain range, and that was absolutely beautiful. But the majority of my work is Manchester, Liverpool, even abroad. I was in Barbados during COVID, Belgium, France, Germany, all over the world. So it's a really good job if you want to see the world.
Yeah. Again, you've been working on this job, as you say, for 17 years. So like the Welsh film industry has lots of things have changed. New studios are coming up. Like, what has been your experience of working in Welsh film and your perspective of what it's like working in film in Wales now?
I think it's getting bigger. I mean, obviously we're in Aria Studios, and there never used to be in Aria Studios until very recently.
Yeah.
And that is super cool. And why not come and film in Wales? You've got the most beautiful landscapes, and they're not being used. I think most people tend to go to, Scotland for the dramatic landscapes, don't they? But they need a studio, so they go up there. But now you can come here, which is lovely. And
North Wales especially, there's loads of great locations.
Oh, it's insane. It's so beautiful. And we get gorgeous sunsets here that, they're to die for. So,
there's not been temptation to move your base. You're happy to sort of be based here, even if not every job is going to be here.
I think for the majority of the time, I'm not here.
Right, okay.
To be fair. It'd be great if I could just consistently work out of Wales, but, it'd get a bit boring though as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it's good to move around.
Yeah.
It really is.
But as long as, like you say, as long as you've got driving license and a car
Yeah.
and sort of the ability to move as well.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about one specific project that you worked on, which was so Documentary Now, the TV series based in America, but at least one of its creators is Welsh, came to the UK to shoot a whole season, was it? The season was based here. So how did that job come about? How did that project?
I just got an email at Christmas time saying, are you available on these dates? And at the time I was thinking, I don't really want to go out to work in February. It's freezing cold. So I thought, no, I won't do it. And then I had a reply email saying, are you sure? I was like, okay, just let me know what your dates are. And I basically made space for these guys, and I had no idea the insanity that was about to ensue. We were up in Snowdonia, literally in the mountains, in thick snow, filming crazy people, filming a TV show in a TV show. It was the most surreal thing.
Yeah.
And we had big name actors as well. Alex Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Alex Skarsgård. And I can't think of anybody else's name.
Was Kate Blanchett in this series as well?
She was, but she was in the Blackpool, the hairdressers one.
Right.
And she was amazing. Just normal person.
Right.
Yeah, but obviously not normal person because she's amazing.
I was going to say, do you kind of, obviously you're right there, right by the as people are shooting, and you're up front again. I mean, Kate Blanchett is one of the best actors in the world. So like, do you still get starstruck, or is that something you kind of get more relaxed about? Or
Definitely get more relaxed about it, but it depends on the actor. If they're really friendly, then obviously you're going to be more relaxed, aren't you?
Yeah.
But some actors have this real air of, don't come near me, it's almost superiority.
Yeah.
And you just think, oh God, I don't know if I can talk to you. But I think we all are just humans, and we're all just the same. So, but I do get starstruck. Yes, I do.
Yeah, but you just have to. You put it on a professional air as well, and they won't even notice. And one of the directors is Rhys Thomas, who is from Wales. But as I understand it, that's the first time he'd ever made a film in Wales. Is that right?
I believe that to be true,
Yeah.
and he's like a shit hot director in LA doing Marvel movies.
Was that primarily an American crew, or was that kind of mix of British and American to?
From what I remember, the two directors were American and the executives were American, and everybody else was local. We had I think she was German line manager, something line producer. I think she was German. So quite international flavour.
Are crews often like that, where it's people have just come from all places and all kind of traditions? And do you find yourself working with the same people often, or is it like frequently a whole
when
new bunch
that
of people?
happens, it's like working with your family. It's so nice, and
Yeah.
that happens a lot in Manchester and Liverpool. There seems to be sort of a family vibe, and it's hi, how are you doing? Oh, we're back together again. And I think a lot of that happens in South Wales as well, because they're set people. It feels like, sort of homegrown. They've been there a long time.
Yeah.
And they're good at their jobs. And then the London crew is like the bubbling over. Sort of, I don't know, they seem to come out a little bit, but mostly they stay in London, I would imagine.
Right.
Because there's so much work there.
But presumably, it's great when you're working with people you've met before, but you also have to be, maybe not like best friends with people straight away, but you have to sort of essentially make friends with people quite quickly, or get a good working relationship with people quickly.
Yeah, but I think because we're all in the same boat, we're all of the same tribe, so we all get each other.
Yeah.
So you're just with your people. It's nice.
Yeah. And we've talked, maybe accidentally, about you've worked on lots of comedy projects. Does it help to have a sense of humour? Does it help to be presumably it's not just or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, sort of professional or automated system that it really helps to kind of get what they're going for and sort of judge. You've got to intuit the tone that the director wants and that everyone is aiming for. Does it help to be kind of in tune with those wavelengths with the comedy thing?
Yeah, I remember working on a show of comedy sketches, and Dom, the director, who was also the executive producer of the show, would wait to see if I was laughing,
right.
And he would determine whether or not it was going to be successful.
Right. So you're very important. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he just kind of got my vibe when I did the interview, during the interview process, because it's not always I just get the job. Sometimes I have to be up against a plethora of people that they may choose to come on board. And so it's whether or not the director gets a good vibe from you or not.
Right.
So I'm just really lucky that I give off the good vibe.
Yeah, that's good. And what kind of in that kind of interview situation, what kind of questions would they ask of you? Or
well, they just ask, what was the last job you did? What you're watching now? That kind of thing. And then normally I'm in like a Hawaiian shirt holding a cocktail and just say, I'm just really chilled out and I just want the best for you.
Yeah.
And this is how I work digitally, not on paper, so your notes aren't going to get lost or soggy. And I think it's got to be a good marriage, otherwise it can go wrong on set, and no one wants to be fired or be in a situation where there's, icky situations. You just need to flow.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's not a pleasurable experience, and it should be, because it's a really amazing place to be.
Yeah. And we've talked a lot about like this on-set working and who you're working with and who you relate to, and like you're saying that you're advocating for the edit, kind of that's the kind of thing, one of the things you're keeping in mind. How do you interact with editors? Is it always kind of a one-way flow of information, or do you ever hear back from them, or do you ever what's that kind of working relationship like?
Well, there's one editor that I've worked with over and over and over again in comedy, and if I don't hear from him, I just think, everything's okay.
Right.
But they can email and say, something like, can you get the clapperboard into the frame, at the beginning? And I'm like, I can't, because it's just too crazy. Like, you're not here. You don't understand. It's horizontal rain and, that kind of thing. So, I can expect to take some guidance from the other side.
Right.
Or, can you just, their dictation isn't clear, or, can you just concentrate a bit more on, just little things, and they're good guidance, for on set.
So they might be reviewing footage while you're still shooting, so that's something you can kind of feed back into the...
Yeah, and it's scary as well, because you think the whole time thinking, is it going to cut? Is it going to cut? Is it going to cut? Ooh. And then if you do make a mistake, because we are only human and we can make mistakes, it's narrowing down their choice for the edit. So you don't want to be making any mistakes. So it's stressful. Yeah.
And presumably it might not be a mistake you made, but like you might just run out of time or money, or the light changes, or all those things where it's just kind of pragmatic choices, the best you can get in that situation as well.
Yeah, I think my favourite mistake to make is when they go back and do a close-up. We just want to see his hand picking up the cigarette, just a quick cutaway. And I won't be there. The guys will just go, just do it. And I'm not there to say it's with the right hand.
Yeah.
And that's annoying, because it looks like I've said the wrong hand.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't there, and I literally have to write my notes. I wasn't present, sorry.
Right.
But if I was there and I didn't know, I'd say, do one with that hand, do one with that hand, just to cover your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good, because just that little thing is, it's almost like it must be in a way frustrating, because if everything goes right, people don't notice your work at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's not always a great place to be.
You have to just be confident in your own work there as well.
Exactly. There's no ego involved in this job. It's just doing it to be for the love of it, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's an invaluable part of the team as well.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you would give to someone just starting out in their film career now? Maybe someone from Anglesey or someone from Wales.
I think not necessarily go to university and follow that route. Because you end up just getting in ridiculous amounts of debt, and what's that going to do for the start of your career? I think just get on a set, just ask anyone, can I come and shadow you? And I think it's easier now to shadow people. We went through a really hard period during COVID, didn't we, where we weren't allowed visitors on set at all. But it's hard to shadow a script supervisor because we don't want to be bothered.
Right.
We've got too much going on. But I did just have an assistant on Sexy Beast. It's a lovely trainee called Christina Paglioni. She was so helpful. She bought me coffee.
Right.
And yeah, she would back me up in situations. Oh, but didn't, you know, and yes. And I just know that she's going to be a good script supervisor because of the questions that she asked and the way that she thinks and sees.
Great. Well, I mean, I'm very pleased for you and for her as well.
Yeah.
And thank you for talking to me today. That's
You're
great.
very welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers.